All right, it is time for the Fanduel main slate lineup builder for week 2. Let's look at the quarterback position. Starting off with my core plays, my core 4 at the QB position. Sam Levitt at the top of the chart, 10-2. Hefty projection on Levitt. He's a very good play, very top end play. He's priced appropriately. He's definitely a core play for me. Second core play at quarterback, Kevin Jennings, SMU, 10K. Each of these guys is going to have mobility. That's what I want. I think Jennings ends up having a really nice game here. He's the most sure thing on that SMU side. Projects well as well. So I really want to have some pieces of that SMU Baylor game. I've mentioned it on DK. Similarly here on FanDuel, I want a piece. Jennings is one of the top ones in that game. Number 3, core play at quarterback, Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt taking on Virginia Tech, 9,900. I do like this matchup for him. Diego's going to be able to carry the offense. He can run, he can throw. He played great against them last year. So I want to have pieces from Diego here for Vanderbilt. Finally, similarly to DK, Bo Pribula, Missouri at 9,400. Very strong play at the quarterback position as a core play with his rushing upside in this Kansas matchup, which should be a dogfight. I think Kansas defense is worse, and Missouri is got a little bit better defense, and I trust Pribula a little bit more to be able to make plays. Top 2 GPP options here for me. Arch Manning, you could argue, should be a core play. I'll have plenty of Arch here on FanDuel at 10-5. This could easily be we're going to explode with Arch 4 touchdown game for him. Could go to 4 different wide receivers, but I think he runs it a little bit. He throws it. They can get it however they want. I think it's an Arch confidence game here for him this week. So he's teetering on the core, but definitely in play here. And finally, DJ Lagway is the second GPP option. I think he can have a good game. I think he could have a big game at 9,500. I don't know that he has the rushing upside that the others do, but we'll have to wait and see there. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of him in there, but I think he's a pivot option in that offense. Other guys in the pool, John Mateer at 10-6, always has the capability to be an optimal quarterback with his rushing upside. Michigan's defense is a little stout for me to make him a core play, but the price tag is solid on him. CJ Bailey, NC State at 9,700. Decent runner. He can find the box, taking on UVA. Do I have confidence that he can throw for multiple touchdowns, run for multiple touchdowns? I just don't know that he has slate winning upside, where like a Pavia has 3 rushing touchdown upside. I don't think Bailey has that, but he has a really good floor. So I would put him in my pool and be willing to take shots. I just prefer Pavia, Pribula, and Lagway in that same range. Kyron Drones from Virginia Tech at 8,500. I don't know that I can get there. Points per dollar, he's a very strong play. He can run. He has a little bit of passing upside, taking on Vandy. I just don't know that I can get there. He just looked so bad against he put his best game last year was against Vandy. So that's leaving him in my pool. If I want to go cheap at quarterback or decide I need to go cheap at a super flex spot, Drones would be a guy that I'm willing to take a shot on there. Sawyer Robertson at 11-2. He's more of a core. He's a core play for me on DK. FanDuel, he's priced up a little bit more. I still love his upside. I will take some shots here. He has rushing capability and passing capability. I think Robertson's a very strong play. I just can't make him a core play because of the price discrepancy with the others. And then finally, Jalen Daniels at 9,800. Once again, he's in that same range with Jennings, Pavia, and Pribula. I think the Missouri defense is good enough that I don't know that I want to get there, but I'm going to end up with some shots of Jalen Daniels. He's just not my favorite play, but I think they're going to have to throw the ball. And I really do want to take some shots. So I'm probably going to get to him a little bit. I just feel like I need to there. Running back wise, 3 core options for me. Hollywood Smothers from NC State at 9,800. I'm really going to lean into the backfields that I know for a fact who the workhorse is. It's a rarity at this day and age that we know workhorses. Hollywood Smothers is a workhorse in this backfield. Only 3 totes for his backup last week. I like it. It is a price tag that's up there at 98. He's probably the number 3 out of my core 3 here at running back, but I'm still going to have plenty of him on both sites. But I do love him from the volume standpoint. The reason Sawyer Robertson is not a core play for me on FanDuel is Bryson Washington's 8,600. He's the clear top option after Dawson Pendergrass got hurt before the season started. He's going to get all the work. I love his price tag on FanDuel, specifically for the half PPR nature of it. 8,600. Give me all the Bryson Washington here. I'm going to take a ton of shots on him. Him and Jennings as core plays. Perfect bring back situation. And I just love that Bryson Washington price tag at 8,600. Very good value on the board this week for that. Final guy that I believe should be a core play on FanDuel is Keywan Lacey, somewhere to DK of Ole Miss at 8,800. He had the backfield to himself for the most part last week. He's the clear top option for Ole Miss. That's going to be a knockdown, drag-out game against Kentucky, where I think they're going to need to run the football, and I think Lacey gets the bulk of the work. Ranking them, I would go Washington, probably Washington, Smothers, then Lacey as my top 3. Looking at the 2 GPP guys, I'm going to lead it off with CJ Baxter from Texas. Wisner is the top option. He's the 1A in the backfield right now until Baxter's fully healthy. Baxter looked great last week coming off of that injury. He's 7,500. His price differential from Wisner makes me want to go Baxter. I love this price tag. If I'm taking shots in a GPP and I need somebody in that mid-tier price range, he's my top guy that I want to take shots on. I think he comes in lower owned because of he's just quite not all the way back. If he can score 1 to 2, 2 touchdowns, he's definitely paying this off. 1 touchdown could get him there. No problem. Other guy, this is my cheap flyer option, is going to be Xavier Williams from Iowa at 6K. He's more explosive than Terrell Washington. He should be lower owned than Washington. If he can break off a long run and do something similar to last week, he gets me about 16 points. I won't hate that for that 6K price tag. I like him as a GPP play. Those are going to be more of a high risk, high reward, lower ownership situation. Other guys in the pool, I feel like I have to leave Justice Haynes in the pool, even though I don't trust Michigan facing this Oklahoma defense. I think Venables has a great system that can take that game and make it a muddy one for this Michigan offense, specifically with Underwood in his first kind of real tough test here. But Haynes at 92 should be in the pool if you have that price range. Go right ahead, slap it in there. I just prefer Washington and Lacey, but I don't mind taking shots there. Kyson Brown, a.k.a. Dollar Tree Cam Scatterbo. I think Raleek Brown is going to be more involved than I would like to be able to pay the 8,400, but I will want to take some shots because I'm going to be so heavily invested in this Arizona State offense. We do not have to worry about, thankfully, Kanye Udo taking too much work on the ground from him. He's the best option in the pass and run combination. So taking shots on Kyson Brown, no issues there at 8,400 if you need a pivot off of Washington or Lacey. Jaden Baugh at 10-2. It's a 2-man backfield at Florida. So that puts Jaden Baugh at 10-2 in play. It also puts Jacoby Jackson at 6K in play. I think you could play either of the Florida backs. I would not play them together, but you could play either of them in this situation. If it ends up not flowing through Lagway, it's going to flow through these backs. Baugh being the top option, Jackson getting some mop-up duty and getting his fair share of totes mixing in and out throughout the game. They don't have a lot of depth behind them, so each is going to have to tote the rock a good bit. Devon Booth has to be in play for me. Mississippi State, 8K. He looked great last week. He got Wally pipped by Fluff at the goal line. Fluff's 6'4". I don't love Fluff in this situation. I do prefer Booth. Booth just looked great. It was just a touchdown variance that went Bothwell's way last week. So 8K for Booth. No issues playing that. I'm going to keep Cedric Alexander from Vandy in my pool at 7,800. He's a clear top running back. I just think Pavia probably steals goal line touches from him. So I don't mind going more. I'm going more towards Pavia. But if I really do want to take a shot here or there on Alexander, I don't hate it. Aiden Lawfrey at 6,800. I like his upside over Caden Fagan. This Duke defense is stout. I think Lawfrey ends up being more of the dynamic runner for this offense. He can catch a little bit. He's got much more explosive capability. So if I'm going to dumpster dive a little bit, I would prefer to get to Lawfrey in that sub 7K range. But I don't mind the shots on Jackson or Williams if I'm really punting the position. And then finally, Terrell Washington from Iowa, 7,400. He's the safer play in that backfield. I like him. I think he gets a good amount of work. I prefer to go to Baxter at 75 in that situation, but I would mix and match each, as the floor on Washington is much higher than the floor on Baxter. But again, I do like that Iowa State front seven, so it makes me nervous playing those Iowa backs a little bit. But the game's going to flow through them. They threw for like 60 yards last week. So Iowa backs are going to have to be key to taking home the Cyhawk this year. Wide receiver wise, I don't know that I can build a lineup that doesn't have my top core option. I have 5 core plays on this slate. I'm tempted to make it 4 right now, but I'm going to go 5. Number 1, and he's with a bullet, and I don't know how I don't play him in every lineup. He checks in at 10,400. Might as well stick him in when I go to build because he's a lock. Jordan Tyson, he's behind me on the screen. At 10.4, it's a hefty price tag to pay, but the difference is he's so much better than every other wide receiver on this slate. His floor is way higher. His ceiling is through the roof. He catches about half the yards that Sam Levitt throws for. He catches a touchdown dang near every week. It's hard not to pencil in 100 yards and a touchdown here. So if he goes 5 for 100 and a tud, we're already getting close to 20, which is 2x value. I'll take that. I've got a brick for 20 in here. Yes, I'm paying a quarterback-esque price tag, but there's plenty of value at wide receiver that I'm more than happy to play. So give me Tyson at 10.4, lock him in. He's more likely to get 20 points than these 10K running backs are. So I'll take the Jordan Tyson because the differential between him and these wide receivers is huge. So he's the clear top option with a bullet. He's your top play on the slate for me, and a guy that you need a bullet point in your lineup guaranteed. Number 2 for core play at Oklahoma here, 7,300, Deion Burks. So I'm going to buy Deion Burks. He's played great. We have a little bit of a narrative street with Burks here. He's from Michigan, was not recruited by Michigan. I love a little narrative. So 7,300 for the top option in this Oklahoma pass offense. Showed great rapport in week 1 with John Mateer. So I'm going to lean Deion Burks. I think I like him a good bit. and he'll be a staple in my lineups at 7,300. Third guy, I thought he looked great for Mississippi State. Fabulous bring back in this Arizona State Mississippi State game. I'm taking Brennan Thompson at 5,300. I was a little heavier. I originally started last week heavy on Thompson. I moved a little bit more towards Anthony Evans, knowing that he was playing the slot. Thompson looked great against Southern Miss. I'm going to go to the well here at 5,300. That is a basement price tag for a guy that's going to be more of the big play, chunk play option in this Mississippi State offense. And they're going to need to do some stuff to keep up with Arizona State, no doubt about it. Third top play, or fourth core play at wide receiver. You got to fill 3 of them, so we need a good bit of them. I'm taking Emmanuel Henderson of Kansas at 5,900. Far too cheap. Ton of touchdown equity here. Had 100 yards last week and a touchdown. Yes, he was not super involved in that week 0 game. I was off on that. Cam Pickett ended up picking up the touchdowns there. This is a game against Missouri where I think they're going to struggle to find success on the ground. Henderson's got the talent level and the capability to be able to be that 60 to 80 yard guy with a touchdown at 5,900. That's a lock that needs to go in there. I love that play at 5,900. I'll stick him in because I love him. All right. Final core play for me. It's Pavia's guy. Eli Stowers at 6K. He's gone with him from New Mexico State to Vanderbilt. He's played great with him. He's a constant source of touchdowns and yardage. He's a tight end that is actually a wide receiver. He's a big play threat. He had 4 for 86 last week. It's just hard not to want to play Stowers. I really like him, pairing him up with Pavia. Fabulous play. Tons of touchdown equity. When you get in these cheaper ranges, they don't need to do too crazy amount to get stuff done. Looking at the 3 top GPP options for me at wide receiver, Ryan Wingo comes in at number 1 at 9,200. I like him this week. I think he breaks out. He's the clear number 1 in this pass offense. There's no reason that Art shouldn't be chucking it all over the yard. He could get 250 in the first half. I think Wingo's going to be a big part of that. Parker Livingstone also, but the price tag on Wingo is up there. So I think he comes in a little bit lower owned, and you're able to get some value at that point. And there's plenty of value to be able to make this work. Wide receiver number 2, Josh Cameron from Baylor. I think he comes in under-owned because of the performance last week with only 2 for 50 against Auburn. Auburn was taking away him and just let Michael Trigg eat, let Cole Wilson eat. Box score watchers are going to want to play those 2. I want to play Josh Cameron and take shots on him. I just think that he has the capability and upside for a 3-touchdown game in this matchup. Last guy, he's a dumpster diver. He's all the way down here. It's RJ Maryland from SMU. I love pairing him with Kevin Jennings. He's a guy that I think blows up. He plays well in these tougher games. He's great on Fanduel because he's got a ton of touchdown equity, and touchdowns count for more here. I just really like him in this situation, in these tougher matchups. Think he plays well. Yes, he had a terrible game against Baylor last year. I get it. But he's coming off the knee injury. I'm more than happy to play RJ Maryland at that price tag. I don't hate Jalen Cooper. I do hate the price tag on Romello Brenson. That's just too much for me. So other guys that should be in your pool, Hank Beatty from Illinois at 5,700. I'm going to take him as the top option. I know I want to play Justin Bowick at min price, and maybe I will. That might be one of those, hey, this is the guy I'm playing that you shouldn't type deals. But Hank Beatty, if you're smart, being smart about it, 5,700, reasonable price tag, tougher defense. I think they end up having to chuck it a little bit. No problems there. Marquise Johnson of Missouri at 7,700. I would prefer him here on FanDuel over Kevin Coleman. I love Kevin Coleman on DK with his reception capability, but Johnson's definitely a big play threat at 7,700. I like that game. If you're pairing Pribula with somebody, it would be Johnson for me on FanDuel. 6,500, Cole Wilson. That's your kind of chalkier play over Josh Cameron. I think Cameron's touchdown equity is so much more important to be able to play. But Cole Wilson, I mean, 8 for 134 is tough to not have interest in, certainly. Draylon Miller at 6,700. I think Omarion Miller ends up being out for Colorado this week. So Draylon ends up being the top option. 6,700 is not a bad price tag to pay. I don't hate it placed in Delaware, but there is risk that that game gets in a weird situation, a weird blowout real quick. And without Omarion, I would love Omarion Miller if he was going to play, but he's not going to with the hamstring issue. There's no reason to play him at all. Caden Salter, too priced up. No, thank you. Wide receiver, Virginia Tech, if you were pairing Kyron Drones, it's going to be with Aiden Green. I know Donovan Green. I ended up playing some of him last week. Aiden Green, clear top option. He was supposed to be limited going into the week. 10 targets, 5 for 71. No issues going here whatsoever. I worry about his touchdown equity, but I will have shares of Aiden Green at 6,500. Wide receiver for Virginia, if I need to bring that game in a little bit. Cam Ross, I mean, look at the stark contrast in pricing. 9,700 on FanDuel. No thank you whatsoever. I'm not even sniffing that, not willing to play that. Similarly, Eugene Wilson, not willing to play that. I don't love the touchdown equity for either. So I would much rather go to Trell Harris at 7,900. I think those two flip-flop top games, but Harris has a lot more touchdown equity in my book. No doubt about it. And if Duke keeps being on slates, I think you're going to get tired of me talking about this guy. Cooper Barkate. I love his touchdown equity. I love his game. 5 catches, 117 yards. I think Mintz is going to end up having to run around a little bit. I think they're going to be under a little bit of pressure. Elon did get pressure on him last week from the offensive line. Barkate, I'm going to lean into Barkate here. There are other guys. You know, you got your Samir Hagans, Quayshawn Browns of the world that you could try to take shots on. My preference is to go after the big man, Barkate, and bet on the talent. Just kind of depends on what coverage they end up seeing. But Hagans is interesting more as like a short area target. I'd prefer him on DK than FanDuel. Quayshawn is kind of equal to Barkate, so I'm going to lean Barkate as my top option for that Duke pass offense. Oregon is interesting on this slate. Whittington's priced way up. I think they blow this team out. I'm going to lean into, I almost wanted to put Decoria Moore at 6,800 in here, but I'm going to take the freakiest of freak athletes and say that Kenyon Sadiq is going to score a touchdown, 6,400. Good price tag on him, similar to Barkate. I like his touchdown equity a ton. He could easily house 2 of these. So I think they end up scoring a ton of touchdowns. That's more risk than Barkate for me, but I don't mind taking a shot there. Now, I mentioned that Eugene Wilson's too expensive for me. That's because I think Dallas Wilson probably still out. I don't mind Caleb Odom is in play if Daquan Wright is out. 5,200 is way too cheap there. I'm going to go Vernell Brown. I'm really leaning into this kid. Just looks great. He's been impressive ever since he got on campus. 5,200. If you want to pair somebody with Lagway, that's your guy. So let's try to build a little something here. We've got 2 pieces in there. Love Emmanuel Henderson. Love Jordan Tyson. They are top options. No problems there. Let's go with, I'm going to take Pavia because why not? Love Diego Pavia and Kevin Jennings. So let's do that because I know I'm going to play my guy Bryson Washington for sure. So what are we looking at now? So you could go Eli Stowers here at 6K. That's going to leave me 9,200, which is Justice Haynes territory, but I would go Keywan late. Let's do that. Why not? That's more fun. Let's go Keywan Lacey. And, could go Kenyon Sadiq or Cooper Barkate. But I don't mind leaving salary this week. Give me Eli Stowers. So I get Kevin Jennings, who I think can run, put up a big game. That's a good game to target. Great game environment. Bryson Washington, love him in that spot. Keywan Lacey, great play here. You can also go Justice Haynes in that spot if you really want to use all the salary because everybody loves using all of it. But I would prefer Lacey in this situation. Jordan Tyson, no problem. Love playing that play. Emmanuel Henderson, great play at 5,900. Eli Stowers at 6K, great play. And then you pair him up with one Mr. Pavia. So that'll do it for the lineup builder on Fanduel. Hopefully that helps you guys. And we will try to build everything out and just build some variations, get some guys together. But with all the running quarterbacks, you don't really need to end up with stack partners. You're just trying to get the guy who ends up. So like Sam Levitt, you do not have to play with Jordan Tyson because 70% of Levitt's production through the air is going to come with Tyson or through Tyson. But there is no issue playing Sam Levitt because he has rushing capability and upside as well. So feel free to get any of these guys in. You could easily just swap that. You go boom, boom. There you go. So that's another way to play that. But I'm going to play Jennings in this one because I like his rushing upside and the differential there. All right. So let me know how your builds go. I'm going to be building a bunch here. And maybe who your favorite value play. Put it in the comment section. Favorite value this week. Top options. So, all right. Have a good week, guys. Wish you all the best of luck.